those people compare with these guys on the wall here? Not really, completely different, right? Like I said already, this was put here in 1952. A year before, that photograph was taken in 1953. As you can see here, this is really East German GDR propaganda. You're looking here at like the businessman and the farmer shaking hands down there, doing business together. That was kind of true about East Germany. Everybody had a job. It was actually illegal not to have a job in East Germany. You had really big problems if you didn't have a job living in that country. Also, you have the Free German Youth, the young German pioneers. You have, believe it or not, these women with the blue uniforms on, they're protesting. They don't look anything like those protesters down there in that photograph. That photograph has the exact same size and dimensions as this mural on the wall. Why were those people in the first place protesting in East Germany to begin with? That was actually because in the same year, 1953, in March of that year, right at the beginning, Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, died. That caused a lot of communist countries, led by places like Czechoslovakia, to start to demonstrate and protest against their communist regimes. They wanted changes made, they wanted improvements made to their living and working conditions especially. When these changes were taking place and these demonstrations all over these other communist countries in the east of what was East Germany, East Germany itself as a country was only 4 years old at the time. With their previous experience with capitalism in the West, the East German Communist government decided not to make any changes to their communist regimes that would improve people's living and working conditions. They made changes, but the changes that they made were actually worsening their living and working conditions. What they did was, they collectivized the farmland, they increased the working quotas, and they lengthened the working day. For the first time ever in East German history, East German people decided to protest. Not just here in Berlin, but in 90 different spots all over East Germany. The biggest, of course, being here in Berlin, where these people marched directly to this building. At that time in 1953, this building was the centre of the East German government. The protesters marched directly here, but remember I told you this mural was put here in 1952, a year before that. So they came directly here and they looked at this in the face during this protest. If you ask me, this unfortunately must have felt like a bit of a slap in the face. That is not how they were feeling, in fact quite the opposite. This protest was relatively successful to begin with. However, after a couple of hours into the protest, the army crushed in on these people. They arrested and beat up thousands of innocent protesters and they killed over 250 innocent demonstrators. 17 soldiers were also later executed by their own men for refusing to open fire against these protesters. Apparently, sometime